We're back again for another 2.5 hours of madness. And I was going to do the API stuff, but then I got distracted, extremely distracted with something a little bit more important. I found a problem. And if I solve this problem, we'll have a really fun next build. So I need to figure it out. Yeah, so here let me show you the issue. And I cannot figure it out. It's such a dumb issue. Posting. Here I am. Found a ship in. Jump in the ship. This is the multiplayer ship. Everything almost works perfect. Check it out. So look. Ship now works fine. Plate model now works. It's all pretty much exactly the same as the non-multiplayer version. Except for this. It's strafing down. And the reason why it's strafing down, there's some internal collision happening. And the weird thing, I've turned on collisions. So if we do this, bring up the menu, bring this over here, bring in this one, and we go fly around. Right, so we're getting the gravity, right? So the gravity obviously is wanting the ship to sink. But when we're out of the gravity zone, right, we shouldn't be falling. Right, until we're actually in the gravity zone, and then gravity takes over. So I don't, but it, anyway, I can't see anywhere on the ship, right? That's giving me another collision. Yeah, it's weird. Like something would be triggering it, but I'm not. I'm getting my main body collisions, which are normal. But the player is disabled. All the players, like systems, are disabled. I checked the our little pad area that we're using to interact with for the things that are in our hand. There is a static mesh here, but this is all disabled. So it's not none of this affecting the ship. It's something somewhere here. There's got to be an internal physics collision between something. And when this last happened, it was the fuel tanks. But I've confirmed this time that fuel tanks are fine. So it's not the fuel tanks, it's not any of the components. I could delete the components. It's so weird. Right? And we're definitely leaving the gravity ball here. Right, the center of gravity is fine. Right, it's not the center of gravity. So yeah, that's the mystery of the stream. And once solved, we'll have a pretty good multiplayer experience. Yeah, because there's only one main body collider on the ship, on the bottom here. It's kind of like considered to be its obviously we're seeing the correct collisions here on the corners. But there's got to be something inside colliding, causing us to have like negative y velocity by default. And I checked the system, like maybe it was like, I did have on the AI ships the ability to counteract gravity for their own flight model, but it's not it. And I don't see any internal. Just from this, yeah, I guess I could create another spawnable prefab called like test ship, and we'll just start nuking stuff until it goes away. But it's yeah, it's super annoying. Right, because I kind of I went through it and I was like, because I have this destroy me one here that I kind of started doing that with. I just start removing everything until we get back to like a fundamental ship. But I might redo this again. Even these area 3Ds, like they shouldn't be affecting collisions with the player or anything. Like they're just triggered. They're just triggers. There's no like static bodies or anything. But we can nuke all these. And I checked like the actual gimbals and the weapons themselves, and they're locked, right? So they're all fine. Like I'll remove them, but I checked the ramp, make sure it's not the ramp colliding with the body. And this area trigger is not affecting it. So let me quick load the other ship. This one. And we'll make sure it works, and we'll just start removing stuff until we figure it out. I would like to change the color of that prefab, though. Something different. Sure, you could be cyan. Yeah, I don't think it's item ports. I don't think Area 3Ds should really be affecting the body of the ship. Alright, so we're still falling. It's like we're not falling by much either, like just something on the ship. It's just causing us to drift down. Anyway, now that we know that works, let's rate it. I don't think it's hard points or anything like that. Even though the areas, like the sensors is huge, but it's on its own thing. And I don't think there's anything being generated from the body of itself. I'll check the shields. The issue is it needs these things, so collision shade. Yeah, and shields are on 9, so they're on their own layer. Alright, I could start turning off some of these things. Like, I don't think it's sensors or shields. The player is definitely disabled, because my thought is there's something in the player. Right? That's like pushing down. So weird. And I have a custom center of mass, which is 2 meters up from center. And I think that's pretty good. And we're applying forces at center anyway. Right, unless the ship itself is being affected by the player, but I don't think they are. Just gonna remove the ship's collisions completely for my own curiosity. Because the capsule on the main player should be disabled as well. Like, the player should be becoming completely static. I'm just gonna flow here. Okay. Now I'm getting an error. Null on one. Oh, because we don't have any ship hard points. Alright, so when the ship has no collisions at all, obviously it works. But, I mean, that makes sense. The ship has no collisions. So something on the player which is supposed to be disabled isn't. Let me put the ship on the ship layer. Masking the player. Right? Okay, so navigation region, main floor of the station is fine. So I don't know, like what, like even on one, which is the player's own layer. Hey, I'm actually. Wait. So why is that chair now actually interacting with it? Oh, the chair components are 3. They're meant to be separate from the ship. Put your back down one. Let's see why the player. Put the player off and then do something. I want to see if anything on the player. Yeah, so even with the player, not player 1, something is still pushing on it. The RAM? Feel the gravity area. It's gotta be something. This is the worst part of game dev. It's when it's like a systemic issue, not necessarily a code or anything. I think that's errors that there's missing components, but okay, what did we last delete? Hey, you notice it's gonna be like have late years graphics too? Oh, it was a ramp. Oh no, not the ramp. It's going to be very similar to like a light version of SE. I'll show you the kind of final graphics. We're playing around with the multiplayer build. It was a ramp. I'm gonna show it. So Unforgiven Space is kind of like their own little light version of SE with the, you know, blackjack and hookers. It's meant to be more like, I don't know, like a Cowboy Bebop in space type thing. Right, so this is kind of like male and female characters. The ship actually looks more detailed. So let me just kind of show you. Right, so this is what the ship actually looks like. Right, so you can customize everything, pull off all the components, upgrade everything. Maybe, you know, magnetic or maglev plates for cargo. We're just buying cargo from A to B and selling it. We also have like smaller fighters. Right, so you know, so the idea is just have a bit of piracy, a little bit of everything. Show stream the image I sent you. Can't believe how well that works. We're having a terrible issue right now. The image that you just sent me. Oh, for how well it works. Oh, did you actually get the part, Sam? Show strain images. I can't believe how well it works. I can't really see it working because it's just a still image. But I'm like guessing you got the head tracking things. That's just a TV remote. Oh, well, yeah, obviously it points dot. But yeah, no visible light. Yeah. So yeah, this is the game, right? You can do cargo missions. You're just buying cargo, you know, selling it, and making your way in the universe. It's the ramp again. I can't believe it's a stupid ramp. Why is it always the ramp? Yeah, it's coming. Oh yeah, so for working on your ship, you just kind of bring it into the hangar and start pulling and pushing things. And if you have any questions, let me know. So it's the ramp. Why is the ramp? What is the ramp beating? Oh, let's go back. Because I want the player to be able to... The ramp needs to work. Maybe made the ramp on a different layer. Maybe it needs to create a couple extra layers for the... will there be hijacks in space, like shipboarding? Absolutely. Yep, there's a whole criminal system planned for the game. I closed that main project, but there's like big prison modules that you get sent to, kind of if you get caught. The game is reputation focused, so you're kind of slowly grinding rep with different factions to unlock different trade missions and different, you know, commodities and goods. What, space piracy, mining, right? So there'll be gas mining and physical rock mining, as well as your standard, you know, cargo freight. Right. So in this ship, yeah. So we removed the ramp. So it was the ramp. The ramp. What is the ramp colliding with? Though? That's creating the downward collision. Let me go back to the other one real quick. Yeah. So our spawnable ship. So on the ramp, yeah, I thought on the static body we put this. Man, yeah, I don't think this was supposed to be hitting anything else. But it's gotta be hitting something else. Because we're masking to one for the player. But then it's affecting the ship. Which is so weird because it's not doing it in the... Oh, you know what? I bet you it is doing it in the... It is doing it for the player. Alright, let's give this a go now. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so here we are, spawning the ship. Yeah, so it's the ramp. So we'll just have to juggle the... I'll need to make another layer mask. Still falling. I don't know, maybe I'll get... Visual instance. This being on 2 is actually still causing a little trouble. Okay, well now it's not on anything.
Alright, stand up on the exterior step, keep your head down, and our guardian angel will take care of you.
Did we solve it, I wonder? It's not the ramp. It is not the ramp. But we just removed the ramp. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, when we removed the ramp, we were good. Like, everything else on the ship is fine. All the components are fine. You know what I mean? We can yeet off all the components and just yeet them, but like, but it's not the components. Because look, it's going down, right? Like, there's no forces other than whatever internal collisions. And the stupid thing is Godot shows this. Like, if we go into camera mode and we just go to the ship, right? There was right, if there was some internal collisions, we would see them in pause mode, right? We would see them colliding inside the ship. There'd be little red indicators because I have collisions turned on. So like if it was the ramp, we'd see like little collisions on the corner. That's what's weird about it. Right? So it's not like none of the components, they'd be red right now because we're paused on a physics frame. I don't even like, it's so dumb. Right? It's not the player, because the player would be, we're not in there. It's totally moving down on its own. And I thought that was it, because as we nuked the other ship, right? Like that we were getting somewhere. We took off the airship net. Yeah, it doesn't have any colliders on it anymore. So it's fine to leave there if it doesn't have any, if it's not affecting anything. Right, when it's disabled, it's removed from the equation. Oh, you don't understand the problem? So there is something inside the ship colliding with something else inside the ship, causing the ship to drift down. So like when I run, and I have debug collisions enabled, so we can see all collisions that are happening. So what happens is we spawn in our ship, right, which seems to be all working fine, right? We can move our components and put them back on, and you know, everything's all hunky-dory. And if we go and get in the ship, and there's a artificial centering we've defined, right? So obviously when I'm in the gravity volume, you know, it's going to affect us because we're in a gravity volume, right? So there's a gravity volume here for me. You know, if I as an example, if I just run to the edge and jump off, right? Like there is a whole 0G, right, environment. Enter the gravity, we get flipped around, and we're all good. And we make sure that all these are frozen. So they're all rigid bodies because you can move them around, but they're frozen once they're locked into the item port. And there's an item port there for some reason, but... So what we're looking to do is just leave the gravity volume and leave the ship idle, and it shouldn't do anything. But what it's doing is it's slowly strafing down. So if I turn upside down, you'll notice we're actually strafing up. Okay, so it doesn't really matter what direction, right? It's just the ship is moving on its own, and the reason why it's moving on its own is something internal, is some layer mask, something is causing it to move. And the shields, they're on their own collision layer, right? Which only projectiles can hit. So as a player, we can walk through the shield, right? So we shouldn't be affected by the shields or anything. Is the door physics tied to the ship physics and not independent world? So we thought it was the ramp, but I just turned off the ramp completely. So the ramp, I just removed all the collision layers. So it can't collide with anything. We can walk right through it. So it's not the door, and of course I don't have the main doors in on this build. Right, and there's only one main collider, which is this one kind of, it's like half the bottom of the ship. And then we kind of step in as a player. And then that main collider. Right, so like it's none of the components. All the components are locked in place, confirmed. Yeah, because we started deleting everything, and then all of a sudden we got to the ramp. We deleted the ramp. That's what's happening. There's an internal collision that's like dragging it down. Turning off all collisions, fix that. Where's the door open? One second. Let me make sure my door is actually working. Let me make sure my real door is working. Door collisions everywhere. Yeah, so right, all the ship components, like these ones, are on layer 3, and they're normally anything on the ship layer, or ship components anyway. Can you set it up to ignore self collisions with components attached to the ship? Yeah, that's what we've done for anything here. We have sleeping and frozen and made static. Shouldn't be affecting the ship in any way. Right, so all the these are all frozen. They're all just static game objects, not affected by physics once they're on the ship. And it's not the gimbals. Right, there's no collisions on them. Right, here's the main collision shape of the ship. For now, just to be able to jump in. There's a lot more of them on the main model, but let's just kind of keep things basic. And that shape is defined just by the fact that the ship is on layer 1. Which is why I think it must be the player. But the player is totally disabled and shouldn't be affecting it. Like, I also deleted the sensors shouldn't matter. It can be affected by one because it can read players, but it's just a monitoring area 3D and shouldn't really be doing anything. It's just the range for the ship to sense things. And I could see it maybe being the shield, but yeah, but the shield is on collision layer 9. So the shield should be fine as well. You're just a hobbyist game dev, it's all good. It's just weird that we just deleted all of this. Like, we just made a new ship and started deleting everything. And we thought we had it, but then it had other ideas. I mean, the ramp is still there. I didn't delete the ramp, I just changed the ramp. So, like, such a weird issue. I wish there was better, like, there gotta be, like, better ways of determining, like, what is affecting a rigid body. Or stepping through, you know, because even the shield itself wouldn't bring it down. But yet, down it goes, right? Unless something else is overriding I'm gonna try something real quick. Let me check the remote. The ship. Yeah, what is in the ship? Yeah, the ramp. Yeah, ramp's not on anything, so it can't be the ramp. Yeah, maybe we'll just kind of add it all here. Hey Godot doesn't have plain editor. I know. You can do this. You know, you can still, you know what I mean? Like go in and control it with your camera live, and you can still check the things in remote. But it's just annoying. Yeah. So in remote. So let's see. So ramp. It's not the ramp. Right, I'm just gonna turn off specific components. Okay. So it must have a gravity direction somewhere. It doesn't have one though. The only gravity is applied is to the rigid bodies that are inside the area 3D of the station. And once we're outside, we're not in that area anymore. And even so, the direction would be towards the object itself. So the vector would always be minus y of the station. So there wouldn't be this weird, like, if I turn upside down, the ship is now going up, right? That's why I can tell that it is an internal collision. But I can't, there's no visual, you know, proof at all of it being, because normally internal collisions show up. Right? And only if I pause it here and we kind of fly around, we could see it. Right, if I go pause and we fly around the level, we normally would see these internal collisions, but don't seem, like, there doesn't seem to be an internal collision on the player. That's the weird thing about it. And we're not registered, so let me just go see if we're still in the station. Like if we're still registered as a station gravity. So there's no rigid bodies right now in like being affected in the gravity area of the station. So these are the ones that are being iterated over on fix update to so it's always going belly first. That's why I'm sure you know, like that it's an internal collision issue, because we would have collision, they'd be registered in the gravity area, which we're not. We're no longer parented, so we're definitely here outside of things. So if I turn off the collision area completely, on positive, I know that'll fix it, right? So when the ship is on, you know, like the ship is not on 1, we're good. But the issue is 1 is the one for the player. Like I do want the player to be able to walk around inside said ship. I might have to do this a bit weird. So without a collision layer, we know the ship is stable. So we know it's not gravity or anything. Because it's not only is it stable, it's centered well. Like, you know, the strafing seems normal, pitch seems normal, roll. That seems, it could be, you know, a bit better, but overall, you know, like this seems to be pretty centered, center of gravity rigid body. So I don't think we're, right, so I think we're good, but it's like, what else is colliding with it on one? Like, boom. Right? It's gotta be the player. But the, but the player is not even in the ship, theoretically. It is remote transformed to the ship. Right? Like, it has the same physics space, though. Like, it's not parented, but it is in the ship. And if we turn off the player's collisions, which I've already done, so it's not the root of the player, because the player doesn't have any collisions on them right now, but it's got to be something, because the only thing on one is the main player collisions. Yeah, so in the player we do have a couple of internal things, right? There's the gun that's on the player, which should be frozen, right? It's a frozen rigid body, which is static. Right. Same thing with the. Oh, hang on, we're not. Let me go back to the player. Player. Alright, so the player has the model. We have our adjustable mannequin, our skeleton. Inside these transforms, there are weapons, right? There are weapon mounts where I do have some guns, which do have colliders on them that could be affecting the ship in some way. However, they're on equipment mass. So these are all on an equipment mass. So they should not be affecting. Same with the personal terminal. That's on our... This one's on something totally different. Yeah, 24. Maybe the ship box collision for the player moves. And it moves the ships. Could be. But if the player is frozen right now... but there's got to be, maybe there's got to be something else on the player. Something, you know what I mean? Like something, some extra collider. Like we have the player's own sensors. We have an interactor, which is another area 3D. That does happen to be on one, but the interactor is only a well, we'll turn off some more things, but can you add a log to the ship gravity to see who sets the value? For the internal... Oh, okay, so we could actually check the gravity volume of the ship. Hang on a second, that you might be onto something. If the gravity volume of the ship is pulling the things inside itself down, let's take the gravity volume of the ship and ship gravity area and get rid of the collision mask. You know what? That could be it. That could be the mystery. The gravity of the ship itself is affecting the player in some way, even though the player... Yes. But what's weird about that, though, is that we would normally be getting a collision, like especially given that we turned off. So maybe it's not necessarily that, you know, because the player is disabled, but there must be something else that the internal gravity volume of the ship itself is pulling. Because the gravity area itself is only, let's see, so the gravity area on the ship, it doesn't have any rigid bodies, right? So there's nothing that it should be pulling. right? There's nothing that's being affected by this gravity. But the fact that it's on the collision layer at all, as soon as it's masked to the player, we're still affecting it, interestingly enough. Right? But we know in the debug here that there's nothing being affected by this gravity area 3D. And now this needs to be. Other areas shouldn't be able to detect the gravity area, but the gravity area should be monitoring things that are entering. It still doesn't matter. Even when I turn it on the collision layer, we should be getting a registration that we're not. And the ship gravity area is a weird one. Yeah, because it's not. There's a cargo grid inside itself, also an area, which doesn't behave in that same way. Yeah, once this affects the player. Yeah, it's in the ship and in the world physics. Well, if one of them cools down, both simulations go through. Yeah, the issue is they're not meant to affect gravity per se. Oh, okay. It's global space override. This is actually not supposed to be defined at all because we're doing gravity ourselves. Okay, so in this case, yeah, that's what it was. It was Godot's Area 3D's own gravity override, which we don't use in US, affecting it. One property on the gravity 3D. Cool. Well, that's what we're doing. We're freezing the player, right? So once the player is on the ship and is anchored, the player actually gets disabled and has no collisions whatsoever. The player is supposed to be frozen. Is it fixed? Kinda-ish. The player is not frozen right now. It's supposed to be frozen. They're back in kinematic mode and not static. All right, so let's let's go in and actually. I've done all that while we're in plane mode. So man, realizing that's probably actually permanent. But let's go in and fix those. So all that's good. Weapons are good. Ship gravity area. So we want this one. No, we don't want other things to detect it. We only want it monitoring. We don't want to replace. And it's fine because we do want to detect the player. This is fine. We'll make sure the player. So this is now back on 1 again. The player is back on 1. Universe Online. Moment of truth. Posting. Running around, spawning in a ship. Let's see how still it is. Alright, so we gotta work on the gravity volumes. Perfect. Cool. We need to deploy this. So we're gonna each spawn a ship. Okay, so we're gonna kill the build. I'm gonna rerun the build in headless server mode. Run to clients. Moment of truth. I'll be revere. Might as well be green. Okay, revere is in on dedicated server. I'll make a red character. And we'll use Fixius. Even though that's kind of more pink, but okay, whatever. We have a Fixius and a revere. Fixius is going to run over here and spawn in a ship. Okay. And I'm going to observe that everything is working. Alright, so we can totally pass through the shield like we normally can. We can interact with the animations. Okay. Nope. Something happened with the authority. Even though this was actually working perfect earlier. And when I spawn mining... Oh, I wonder when I change the ship prefab. Right? I mean... Yeah, because I can see yours fully synced. I love that I'm just a flying ship. Yeah, so let's make sure. Such a graceful ship spawn. Perfect. Player was removed. Player was removed. Oh, it's not finding them to sync. Weird. Nothing changed. Like, we just had this working. I'm gonna go. I sub. Catch you later. Have a good one. Is it by noise? By noise? Yeah, multiplayer connect. And this is a join. There's the other ships. Yeah, I'm gonna kill everyone. Wait a second. No, this time. I need to fix this. Yeah, so when we did this last time, when the first player spawned the ship and took authority, it worked, because they should have permission. Let's find the other player. I can see the other player over there. Spawn in the ship. Why did it do 2? Oh yeah, so it is. It's spawning one and replicating another. When is it? When did the multiplayer synchronizer lose the reference? Yeah, because we're like totally out of sync now. Yeah, so let's clear this. Yeah, this is wrong. So this should have the ability to spawn PlayerNet. Yeah, we're the testing. Kill this one from here for a second. I think we're spawning manually. Just get rid of that on the spawner, and we're gonna just spawn 2. So post. Yeah, because I think these need to replicate through the player that spawns them. Okay, so I'm able to spawn and replicate it now. Let me go grab another one real quick. Alright, so that's fixed. Cool. Now we gotta get like the weapons and stuff like that working over multiplayer, but that's not a... I really want to get players playing together, or just being able to get in and play and buy cargo and move it, kind of get some of the grids working, just start putting in the... getting stuff into the main build now, getting the data of these ship configurations, saving, loading. I'm gonna crash into them. Uh-oh. I totally desynced the ship. That's funny. Cool. Lots to do, man. Lots to do. It's cool. I want to actually do that, rebuild that, and push it to Patreon. Because the drift was weird. All right, and then that build is up. Let me figure out what we want to do with the habitation stuff. And I gotta fix all these bugs. Add customization. Alright, let's log in and see what we can do here. So did I make the login system work? So login, revere, password. We log in, on a page ran, there's some update nonsense. Okay, so in this scene, what scene is this? The empty test scene? Yes, okay. Whatever the scene is, the UI doesn't work out. Weird. So what are we? 8 by 8. An 8x8 volume. By what? 8x8x4. Hey, Lance. How's it going, Lance? We're working full time on the game now and pushing crazy amount of updates. There's a build on Patreon or on the same link as usual, Unforgiven Systems, in the Discord. If you want to give it a go, we have fully working multiplayer ships now with chat in game. And I'm trying to get the what I'm working on now is I'm going to do a little gray box version of the habitation module. Awesome to hear. We'll give it a try. Just a quick hello for now, though. Sleeping for the night shift. Got some good work done on the space RTS. I'm working on that. Great learning about the state charts. Learning about state charts, cool. Yeah, it's super fun, man. Working on the project full time. I'm pretty excited to see where I can get with stuff. Yeah, there's going to be a very crappy version of the tab with a bunch of item ports. I'm going to randomly scatter just to kind of get things going. Can I deliver space pizzas yet on the bike? No. Well, now I have something that can almost make lumpy potato. Make a lumpy potato. I'd like to have space pizza. Yeah, I'd like a space pizza too. Space pizza. Plant deck need more work on property and noise filters for it, but it's a start. Nice. Oh, for a lumpy potato? Gotcha. A lumpy potatoes good? Lumpy potatoes. Perfect. Yeah. Lance's space delivery pizza. Be advised there's a 100 credit charge for night deliveries over 30 late minutes. Gravitation area. 16 this. So warm, guys, so warm. So my goal now is to create in gray box form all of the systems of the habitation module. Oh god. Hello, colliders. Can you not generate colliders? Yeah, you should have came with a static collider. I mean, I can't bang into you. Did the floor not get a collider? Or is there only one way? Can I not go up through it? Oh, what's the deal with face orientation? Oh yeah, that's it. You are inside. Alright, and then for this one, this is actually fine, don't really care. Then I just go here. Make sure this is correct. Yeah, because I'm seeing the collider. Yeah, because this is fine on player. Fine on player. No music. Make sure that we're good, and then we'll get the. I need to make a new UI terminal for the spawning of paths, and the path node is going to build up the structure for it. Why are we still falling through? Did it not re-import? Is the direction of the thing messed up? Re-import? Thanks. There's layer 1. Is it set up for circular gravity? Yes. For planets, it's set up for circular gravity. Why are you? Yeah, I mean, this looks right. Collider's like right on it. We get mesh colliders. Gizmos and normal. Yeah, that looks fun. Right? Not thick enough? I mean, now we just add. Sometimes you just gotta add your own. And it'll just feel like a thick boy. The scale is not right. Why is it complaining about scale being weird? What does it even reset? Dude. Guess what? Okay. Yeah, I won't rely on the blend file, just make that. We'll make sure this is good. Yeah, they're following the mesh. They're only like one-way collisions. Gotcha. There should be a 3D panel. Let's combine chips. Item component panel. Is what we need. Oh yeah, and there's a component in it. And this will be this store. What is sofa? Sure. Oh, and some item snap points. I can't reach the sofa. Okay, so we need to get this hab synchronized. Saving and loading. I just need a new terminal. going to bring all these terminals next to each other. So there'll be a terminal for spawning the hab, and a terminal for. So there's going to be one. I'll try to get all the gray box stuff in here too. 3 sofas. Yeah, so that should, this thing here. Let's create a new node. It should be our hab of the 3 gray boxes. This will be the modern. Alrighty. 15 minutes. So I think in the main project I got a bit further with this. But I don't think we had, because we're porting code. Let me save this real quick. I don't think any of the serialization functions are ported over yet. So I think that's going to be what's next. Yeah, because here in the truck stop, do I have these set up? Or module. No, they're just nodes. So they have all the item ports, and they have all the item port functionality, but the item port functionality is not serializing or saving. Okay, cool. So that's going to be what we'll work on tomorrow. Cool. Which should be in line with where we are anyway. Load in hab JSON, configure the hab as requested by the player. I mean, that was the plan. I think there's more habitation stuff here. Yeah, I'd really like to work on this more with the art. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna leave it there. and take a break. And then afterwards I'll start, because we got to start fresh on this. So I'll get these add modules actually set up with their own scripts and get their item port configurations working, and create the Newtonsoft data bindings for the data coming in from the API. And ideally, down here, this is how this workflow is going to go. Player comes down, goes up to the terminal. If they have a hab, it'll spawn. So it'll kind of replace the interior of one of these with their actual interior and load everything in. And then they're good to go. I'd also like to kind of put like a little room number, or you know, put their name on it or something if it's like a Patreon one. A little placard or something, just for the time being. It could be like lights that are like occupied or not occupied for the time being, but we could have them display a handle. Yep, and we just need to keep on the API. You just gotta keep track of which room. This, like, there'll be NPC rooms when they're not used by a player. So as players kind of buy them and or rent them out or whatever, we'll swap them out. So when the player spawns in, we'll either spawn in their hab first, and then, or really we'll see where they are in the universe. And if they're at a station, then we'll spawn in their hab and we'll put them in their hab. Yep, and that'll be good. So that'll be tomorrow. And a new build, let me reminder for you guys, make sure you guys are on the page. Or make sure you guys are on the Discord. I'll put it in YouTube chat as well. Oh, some things in general. Apparently it doesn't like me copying that. What? Copy link to clipboard. Thank you. And I'll leave YouTube. See you guys on the YouTube, and then we'll raid someone over here.